This is FYI on your TV, brought to you by Hometown News. I'm Kathy Botham, and I have got Margo Bell with me and Joanne DeSormo, and you're both with the Hospice Hub run out of Perth.
Absolutely.
Now, you were the recipients of the Polar Plunge this year.
We were the lucky recipients of the Polar Plunge.
Amazing event, amazing support you got that day.
It was incredible. It was the positivity was just palpable. It was just amazing.
It really was.
We broke records with the number of plungers. There were over 200 plungers. An incredible amount of money was raised, and it was just a really positive day.
Excellent, excellent. You saw the support of the community come out. That's for sure.
It's just immeasurable. You know, we all left on such a high, Kathy. It was amazing.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah,
it was
for
great.
sure. Absolutely, absolutely. Now, Joanne, you're a nurse.
I am.
And you lead the day hospice program and the home support program. Are you back up to the home support program as well?
So
too?
I've just come on board recently.
Yes. 3 weeks, is that what
3 weeks.
3
yes,
weeks.
Yes. And so I'm going to be supporting the home support program, which is already up and running and expanding. So that's great. We're getting more referrals, as well as being part of a team that's going to lead our new day hospice program. So it hasn't started yet. We're in the early planning phases of it, and it'll be launched early fall.
Excellent.
In Perth Smiths Falls location.
Excellent, excellent. And Margo, you're a volunteer.
I am.
You do the communications and fundraising and fund development and
Along
that sort of
with
stuff.
many other very dedicated
Absolutely,
volunteers.
yes.
Absolutely.
And well, speaking of which, you are a registered charity now too. So what does that mean to
Absolutely. We were very excited to receive that news. So the end of April, we got notification from the Canadian Revenue Agency, CRA, that our application had been approved. And that's not an easy process.
No, it's not.
And we had a dedicated group of volunteers that put together that application and saw the whole process through. And we are forever grateful for them because it makes a big difference. So by becoming a registered charity, it has many benefits for not-for-profits such as the Hospice Hub, not the least of which is that we can now issue income tax receipts for donors, which is very helpful.
Excellent, excellent. Now, the Hospice Hub, how long has that been around in the Perth area?
The Hospice Hub itself?
Yes.
We were actually incorporated, Ann Jensen was at the lead of this
Yes.
and has been doing it for years, but the actual official incorporation took place in March of 2023.
23, okay, because you just got an office area or something? Is that
We've had that for a little bit. We're
Okay.
on Lewis Street. We
Yes.
have an office there, but we have a part-time admin person now as well, which is very helpful.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, the
Yeah.
hospice is so needed in every area too, you know, that you're just such a good support to the people who are going through that part of their life, that life journey, and their family and
Absolutely.
caregivers.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Now, you've had a busy 2025 already.
Oh my God. I mean,
Yeah.
this organization has made such incredible strides since that incorporation, but 2025 as well have been some really positive steps forward. So our programs continue to run that Joanne had mentioned, the home visits. We're getting very positive feedback for those and demand is increasing for that. Our bereavement programs continue to run. We have one-on-one bereavement programs, group bereavement programs, and also a walking group just began the beginning of this month. We're continuing with our educational workshops such as advanced care planning, and a big piece that Joanne will be helping Hannah with, because Hannah is a part-time nurse coordinator for the home visit program, is system navigation. You know, it's very difficult when you get that diagnosis.
Yes.
To where do you turn, what do you do, what services are available,
Where do we
to
start?
begin. Exactly,
Yes.
where's that starting point? And Hannah is this delightful young voice at the other end of the line that is just so helpful and willing to do it. And that's what the Hospice Hub does. We connect end-of-life services for people.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I mean, the home visits, they're so important too as well, because we want to keep people at home as long as possible.
Absolutely, and those are done by volunteers. We've had 2 cohorts of volunteers, well-trained volunteers, and there's interest in another, and it's so it's really a community effort. You know, so many people involved.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Now, we had started talking about what you do, and let's elaborate a little bit more. What does your week look like? What does your day look like?
So
the
yes,
day hospice.
the day
yes.
hospice program. It's very exciting that we're going to have an opportunity to do this program. And so, as you can imagine, when someone's diagnosed with a life-limiting illness, it can be extremely stressful. And you know, the day-to-day appointments, the navigation of the really complex healthcare system. So what the day hospice program does is allows people to just get away from all of those stressors for a day, in a warm, welcoming, home-like environment, run by volunteers who are all highly trained, compassionate, and it just allows people to get out of the house for a day, come and connect with other people that are likely going through something very similar, do some activities, whether that be you just want to sit and bring your knitting or read a book, do a puzzle, or engage in some more organized activities. We're going to have a lot of fun. We also will be sharing a meal together, so that's part of the whole program. Something else that we're hoping to introduce as part of the program will be what we refer to as complementary therapies. So alongside medical treatments, sometimes people like to explore other types of treatments. So whether that be touch therapy, music therapy, meditation, things that can just help comfort the soul, the whole, the mind, the body, and the soul, because it's a very holistic program, hospice.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
and the great thing, the benefits, not only do people get to connect with people, but also typically they will be coming once a week, and they'll be able to check in with a nurse such as myself, and really we'll be able to just hear a little bit more about where they're at in their journey, you know, check in on their symptoms, how are they sleeping, how are they eating, providing that continuity of care for people from the home environment out into the community environment, which we know can be difficult to navigate. And so we'll be checking in regularly. Going back to what Margo was saying, that the navigation is a huge piece of it. So helping people get connected to the right services in that timely manner. So great for the clients themselves, and then the caregivers.
Yes.
They need just as much support for their physical and their mental health. So while their loved ones are being cared for in a homey, you know, warm environment, safe environment, exactly. They can have a little bit of respite time to get out and take care of them, whatever self-care looks like for them. If it's, you know, going out for a walk with a neighbor, you know, going to that book club that they've maybe get, or just getting out in their garden. It allows them that time to sort of recharge their batteries so they're ready to jump back into that caregiving role at the end of the day again.
Absolutely, absolutely. So what day of the week does this happen? Where?
So good questions, Kathy. We are in the, we're very close to securing a space. We really want to, we're serving the Smiths Falls, Perth area. So anywhere the Perth Smiths Falls Hospital serves, that's our catchment area for the hospice hub. So we're going to be starting in one of those two locations to start with, and then building from there. So early fall is when we hope to have our launch, and we'll be up and running by mid-fall.
Wow, wow.
So day of the week, we're not sure yet, but more
3
details
weeks
to
in
come.
and you're finding it right from the the rubber hits the road. You're getting out there. Yes, for sure, for sure. Now it takes fundraising. It takes fundraising.
Absolutely.
So you've got a hike for hospice coming up as well.
We do have a hike for hospice, so this will be our second annual. We had our inaugural hike was last June actually, it was June the 2nd, and it will be an annual event. So the National Organization for Palliative and Hospice Care, the first week of May is kind of Palliative and Hospice Care Awareness Week, and they run a number of programs, and they ask organizations throughout the country to do a main fundraiser, which has become a hike sometime in May or early June. So ours this year, last year we had a resounding success again, incredible support from the community. And this year it's going to take place on Sunday, May the 25th. So we're starting with check-in at 11:30 a.m. There's a complimentary barbecue being sponsored by Maximilians, which we're very appreciative of for participants. And then we have, so people, it's last year it takes place at the Crystal Palace, and it's quite a hum of activity. So people visit and do things and get registered. We have waivers, of course, that have to be signed. Some people bring their donations. That's all been done online, but last minute things are done there as well. We can accept last minute registrations the morning of as well, if people decide that they in fact are free and hadn't thought that they would be. And then there's a warm up at 12:45, and the actual hike is at 1 o'clock. So there's throughout the town of Perth, again it's at the Crystal Palace. It starts, you can do 1.5 or 5 kilometer walk and then come back to the Crystal Palace.
It's not a competition or anything, it's just...
No, it's just a lot of neighbors getting together, and they've received, you know, they get pledges, and some people aren't able to walk, so they pledge a walker. We have teams. We have some great teams that have put together the things. The men and women of the Tay Choir have put together a team. The Tay Health Center have put together a team. We have lots of individuals that are hiking, and most have a reason. If you go to our website, I'm sure you'll mention it, but the hospicehub.ca, their profiles are on and why they're hiking, and it's really an interesting read. It's really a lovely
inspiring
thing to be. It's very inspiring.
Yeah.
That's a perfect word for it.
Want
Absolutely.
to support it.
And you know, our long-term goal, I mean, this day hospice program is very exciting, but our long-term goal, and it's not that long-term, we're hoping in the next 3 years to actually have beds, actually have a residence. And so until that time, the government pays for a portion of beds, but they don't, you know, we've had some government grants, we do fundraising, but all this is done on money that's donated and through fundraising. And then of course for hospice and palliative care, there are no charges to the client. It's a complimentary service to the client and to their family. So we will always be fundraising.
All right, yes, absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah.
And I mean, we talk about stories being inspiring. I have to ask both of you, and maybe I'll start with you. Why do you do this?
I just think it's really, really important. My husband died 3 years ago. He was diagnosed with Alzheimer's. And it was in the height of COVID. So it was a very interesting time indeed. And so it just kind of, and then through that whole process, through Bryce having to go to long-term care, there's such a variance in people's capabilities, and I watched people struggle with this. And so when Anne approached me about hospice, I thought, oh my God, this is perfect. You know, it really is such an incredibly important service, and we realize that because of the community that the support we've received, everyone that we talk about, the timing is perfect. You know, people are really in need of this service.
They are, absolutely, absolutely. And what about you, Joanne?
I knew you were going to ask this question.
Oh, you knew that, I did.
I was blindsided.
She was able to prepare.
Yeah, and for myself, it's the way I explain it. It's been a little bit of a tug at my heart as a nurse for some time now, and so I had the privilege of working at a hospice residence a couple of years ago, and it was really that experience that solidified it for me that this is where I want to give back and be able to serve back to my community. When people are at end of life, they really just need to be a spouse, a parent, a sister, a brother. And so hospice services allow people just to be that. They can let go of that caregiving hat for a little bit and actually just really be family, which is so important at that time. So I'm thrilled to be part of the hospice hub here locally. This is amazing.
Absolutely.
And that is a critical piece that I missed, is that when you have that kind of support, then it allows you to do the things you want to do with your loved one. You know, you're not doing the things that, as someone said to me when Bryce had to go to long-term care, and I wasn't overly thrilled at that whole idea. They said, but now you get to do the fun things. Now you're not doing the day-to-day things. And it's really, it's a lovely, you know, we all die, Kathy. There's no escaping it.
You can't escape,
you know, and so it's kind of, we want to do it with dignity and on our own terms. And this allows one to do that.
Absolutely.
And if I may, one thing I did forget to say is that we're also very excited that with our successful fundraising, we were able to hire a part-time ED. We have Mary Lou Hussick. And she starts with the organization next week, and she brings with her a wealth of experience in healthcare leadership and also in community-based organizations. So we're really looking forward to having her on board.
Excellent, excellent. So once again, if they want to learn more about day hospice, if they want to learn about the walk, anything about the Hospice Hub, how do they get a hold of you? So
we have now. We didn't have a phone for a while. So we actually have a phone. The phone number is 613-627-0974. The best way to start, I think, is either with phone if you're not computer savvy, but our website is always continuing to be updated and done, and it's thehospicehub.ca, and it's a great place to start to find out what we can do, and probably the best place.
Excellent, excellent. Well, thank you very much for everything you do, and thank you for coming here today too and sharing your stories with us. We so appreciate what you do. Once again, I've got Margo Bell and Joanne DeSormo from the Hospice Hub. Thanks for joining us.
Well, thank you for having us. Really appreciate it.